Everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. And today we've got the amazing Jason with us. Thank you, Jason, for your patience and your time. We recorded one yesterday. We went slightly over, so we're doing a whole new one again. So I really appreciate your time, your energy, your effort for coming along and sharing your story and your views with us.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me once again.
Thank you so much. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm right now situated in Chicago, Illinois. I'm a Grammy-nominated world-class rock recording artist, singer-songwriter, been featured on NBC, ABC, Fox News, and CW. And we are just literally days away right now from putting out the last of the Grammy songs for 2025.
Oh, wow. That's really exciting. Can't wait to see what that list is, who's on that list, and how diverse that list must be. So I'm sure that's going to be great. So yeah, do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about what you do, where you're from, and obviously your specialities, because I think that's really important.
Yeah, sure. So what I do is I create music
Mhm.
from start, like the idea, the creation of the music, the first idea, all the way to the end, mix, master, and then also distribution.
Fantastic. That's a massive job that you have there. So that's a lot of responsibility too. How did you get into that? And did you have a musical education as a background?
Well, I didn't really have a musical education as a background per se. Like I taught myself how to play piano, guitar, drums, bass, some cello, and such like that. But what really started this whole movement for me was this was way before even social media. But what
Yeah.
happened was I went to a recording studio
Hmm.
and I paid about $480 at this recording studio. And I flew somebody in from Colombia to sing vocals with me.
Wow.
We spent about 2 hours at this recording studio, right? And it was like almost like a home studio. It wasn't really like, you go to like the Fab or something like that in Los Angeles
Yeah.
or even in Nashville. But at the end, we heard what the production was, right? And it sounded very, very good. When they gave me the actual music back to me, it didn't sound anything like what we heard when we were there.
Right. Okay. So your creative direction got lost.
Right.
Okay.
So from that point there, like most artists, okay, you're out money, you're out like this person, you can't fly them in again because it was a one-time thing, and now you have no product.
Oh
And
no.
from that day forward, I decided to not only learn the actual creation and production of it, but also to learn the mix and mastering so that I could be a one-stop shop.
Fantastic. That's super inspirational, actually. And I've been through some of those challenges myself. When you go to a studio, you listen to it, you've created some song, and then it comes back to you, and you're like, hold on a minute, that's not what I created. That's not what I wanted. And it's just kind of like, I've lost my whole vision here. So you have to
Exactly.
scrap that and start all over again, which is a bit of a shame. But I do like the fact that you've kind of used a negative and turned it into a positive, because that's really, really, useful, and it helps you to succeed and get yourself to the next steps and not making the same mistakes again, right?
Exactly. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like, I do roughly about 7 to 10 podcasts per month, like
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah.
And, sometimes there's stuff that goes wrong in podcasts. There's stuff that, we do an amazing podcast. It goes to the editors and the editors lose it or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So what I will say is being able to be flexible is super helpful. But also, secondly, knowing that you're giving the content you're going to give, right? But you can give that content over and over again,
Yes.
depending on what the questions are in the interview and all that stuff, that
100%.
allows you to have so much flexibility in what you're not only saying to the fans, but also you can create and create and create and create. And the more you create, the more opportunities you have. The more outflow you're putting out there, the more inflow is going to come back to help you along the way.
I absolutely agree with that, actually. And I really love the fact that, sometimes you've got to give what you get. And the more you put out there, the more you'll get back in return. And make sure it's positive too, because that really does help. And how long have you been doing this music industry stuff? How long is it?
Well, the first time it was 1995 until 2009. And then
Right.
I had the brain injury, and that was 7 years of my life that was, let's just say, hell.
Yeah.
And then from 2016 till present time.
Okay, cool. And what kind of things have you done in that time that you can kind of help others? Have you inspired others? Have you kind of just paved your way? Have you just been learning? Have you been passing that on? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So since 2009, I made it my mission to not only get my music out there, but secondly, like after the traumatic brain injury and losing 7 years of literally existence.
Yeah.
It was time for me to live again. It was time for me to have a second life and a second chance.
Yeah.
So my drive, determination, and tenacity, along with the fact that I'm hungry for everything that I missed for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And secondly, also helping other artists at the same time. Like I would encourage everyone listening to this, watching this, seeing this, or even hearing this from a friend. If you need help, reach out to me. Now, I might not be the expert. I might not be a Taylor Swift, but I can tell you what I did to get to here by myself as the only person in my area, right? Busting doors open, breaking through certain things that maybe you're not to that point yet that might help you break through yourself.
Yes.
I rehabilitated myself as an artist, so I do my best to help other artists rehabilitate themselves as well, especially after COVID. Because before COVID, everybody was doing better than they were. And then when COVID hit, a lot of people lost their drive, a lot of people lost the tenacity. And what was interesting is during COVID, I didn't take the easy way out and like get money that was like, you know, already for people. I was working 3 jobs with the music, 4 jobs. I was networking and communicating with people in Netflix and Disney and songwriting collaboratives. And the thing is I made it a point that I was not going to be stopped no matter what was going on in the world.
Yeah, love that. And it's also sometimes, you know, when you hit those darkest points in your life, you kind of have this gratitude and appreciation and determination is what I'm getting from you as well. Like you've been through an awful lot and I'm so sorry to hear that, but it's kind of brought out this, you know, sometimes when they say you're in this pit of fire, it actually brings out the diamonds, it brings out the best of you, the gold, actually. That's where it's made, right? It's in those darkest times where you appreciate, you realize, and you make yourself determined because there's no other option.
Absolutely correct. And the point of it is that yes, you go down all the way to the bottom, right? So like you experience everything.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, so what does that mean for me? Because a lot of people can take it in a negative way. And a lot of people could take it in a positive way. But the point is that if it helps you fuel your career, if it helps you fuel the music and the lyrics and the music videos and all this other things that is in the music business and in the industry, then that you can take and use as like, I'm going to say the movie I love is Back to the Future, right? So 21.1 gigawatts, that's what I am. I'm totally 21.1 gigawatts. No offense to the copyright and trademark of that. I'm just telling you that I'm coming. You better be ready because I'm going to take it all.
That's amazing. I love that. It's really inspiring as well. I love to hear some positivity. It really does help, you know, and in those darkest times where you struggled and you wasn't able to maybe participate in the ways you would have loved, what kind of things did you learn in that time and what kind of things do you think that's given you now?
That's a great question. So when I was not able to walk and talk at times, and when I wasn't able to actually have a conversation with friends and family and those that I loved, and there was really no communication happening on both sides of the spectrum, I only thought about one thing. And that thing that I thought about was being on stage again in front of millions.
I love that. Oh.
and so when I was thinking about that, like, okay, so you can imagine this. So just to give you a perspective, so this is this is your bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And this is the bathroom.
Yeah.
At one point, my day consisted of getting from the left
to the right. Oh.
Now, this was only 3 to 4 steps.
Oh, bless you.
But during that time, my pelvic floor muscles were gone. I had to have 21 weeks of physical therapy just to get those back. And if you know what those are, you know that those are important to your survival.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, pelvic floor muscles allow you to pee and poop.
Yeah, go to the toilet, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not something that that most people have to deal with. The other thing is that at the time I was having grand mal seizures, and we were having about 100 of them with like a 2 to 3 minute window, and then a break, and then another 100, and then a break, and that happened continuously all day long until I went to bed at night. That happened for 18 months straight. Now, with that being said, this area from this area was a huge like win every single day when I got from one place to another.
Yes.
And there was and along with that, so I'd have I'd have the seizures, and then I would come out of it. And the only thing I was thinking of at the time was music. How do I get back? How do I actually play the piano again? How do I play the guitar again? Because at one point I couldn't play any instruments. And just to give an example, so what the doctors told me was, take a look at this. So like, this is the left hemisphere, right? And this is the right hemisphere. And let's say it's connected like this, right?
Yeah.
They said it basically disconnected.
Right.
And the only way that it would be reconnected again, according to the neurologist that I saw at the time, was if I learned a foreign language.
Okay, interesting.
Right. So I decided, because I had friends that I went to school with that were deaf and hard of hearing.
My parents. Both my parents. Yeah, both of them.
Oh, really? Okay, great. So are you a CODA, child of deaf adult?
Yeah, I'm basically both my parents. My mom's African American English, my dad's Spanish and English, but they're both deaf and they can't speak. They're deaf and hard of hearing, so they can't communicate at all. So I know that struggle, you know, when you're growing up and you can hear. All my brothers and sisters can hear as well. My parents just can't hear. So yeah, it has had its challenges, but at the same time, it's given me different kind of aspects and angles on life that I maybe would not have if I'd just been in a normal family. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of given me a lot of appreciation and understanding for that, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. So basically, I learned American Sign Language in 21 weeks.
Fantastic.
And when I first started out, it was brutal. Okay. It was just like, it was brutal. It was brutal, right? And then all of a sudden, I started increasing and increasing and increasing, and then all of a sudden, boom, like, yeah. And so that gave me so much appreciation, because when I came out of that, when I came out of those seizures, I could not talk or walk.
Okay. So that's how you learn how to do sign language, right? To communicate with others.
Right. And even though I am not deaf now, right? I'm not deaf, but the difference is I have so much appreciation for the community itself, because I myself, they allowed me to come into the community. They gave me a sign name.
Oh, amazing.
Which is Bunny, like,
right.
And then also what that allowed me to do is that allowed me to be who I was at the time.
Yes.
And allowed me to improve, because when I turned the voice off, so to speak, right, then I was able to concentrate just on improving.
Okay.
Right. So I have so much appreciation for the deaf and the hard of hearing, that I actually am putting all of that into my videos.
Beautiful.
And interpreting, so that the deaf and the hard of hearing can look and they can envision and they can see my music.
Oh, that's amazing.
In their world.
And also, I know a lot of deaf people do like music as well. Like, even for my parents, they can't hear it, but they can feel the vibrations.
Right.
And the world is built on vibrations and frequency, right? That's part of music.
Right.
People think, oh, deaf people, they can't understand music and they can't experience it. They actually can. A lot of the time, we're not servicing the deaf community or the blind community either to understand. I know certain people can listen and certain people can see, but it's also about making sure that it is diverse, it is representative, and it's inclusive, because I think that's really, really important.
You're going to love this then. So at my Jason Manwill Experience shows, we actually have 100 seats available normally at the venue, right? 75 of those seats are general admission, but 15 of those seats are specifically designed for VIP and disability.
Amazing.
So for example, with the deaf and the hard of hearing, with the blind, they are the ones that are allowed to be on the stage with me, feeling the piano.
Yes.
And the frequencies and the wavelength of that piano by touch, right?
Amazing.
And then as well as for the ones that are the deaf themselves, they have an interpreter as well. So all the music that I'm playing, they can envision, they can see, and they can understand in their language specifically.
That's amazing. Well done, Jason. I wish there was more artists out there doing what you do, because we need more of this. We need people that are open-minded and understanding and caring enough to commit to making sure that diverse people are catered for. Because I think that's the problem, isn't it? Some people don't even have these thoughts or understand how certain people are left out. But because you've been through a certain situation and a way of life, you've had compassion and understanding and love that's kind of made you say, do you know what? I'm going to make sure I include this in future.
Yeah, absolutely true. And if it wasn't for what happened to me,
Yeah.
I would not know about the community with the deaf and the hard of hearing.
Yeah.
I would not like appreciate them and understand them and be able to take my music to a level that I know that they would be able to see,
And
be
appreciate.
able to grasp,
Yeah.
and be able to relate to themselves in a way that is their world, not my world,
Yeah.
but their world. So for example, one of the songs, Rise Above It All, that I had the privilege of working with a deaf director.
Fantastic.
And so he did the video, and it's coming out soon. We're just doing some final editing for that. But this film that he's created, it's from the deaf world. It's from the deaf perspective. So I told him, I said, well, however you want to shoot it, you shoot it, right? And I'll be happy with anything because I appreciate your time. And also I want to make sure that, you know, artists like himself, who is a videographer, they get the chances everybody else gets. So
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, if you're good and you can show me that you can give me a finished product, I will use you every step of the way.
That is absolutely fantastic. And it's so nice to hear that people are doing this and implementing change and doing it in a positive way because, you know, I see a lot of these issues and barriers. And obviously, because I come from a family that is deaf, I understand some of these issues and barriers. And I understand that we don't have equal opportunities. We don't live in a fair society. And I want to see the music industry become more diverse, more equal, more representative. But it has to also have an impact on the culture that we live in and the society we live in. Because music is a massive instrument for change if we use it in the right way, you know, and I think you're doing that.
Thank you.
I take my hat off to you. Well done, Jason. So did you have a musical education or anything like that before you got into music? Or has it just been a love or a passion of yours?
I wouldn't say it's just been a passion, but like, so for example, my whole music career started when I was in 7th grade.
Okay.
Prior to that, basically, I came back to school in the 6th grade because I was taken out in the 4th grade because I developed type 1 diabetes at an early age and they didn't know what to do. And during that time, there wasn't a lot of data or material like there is now. So they took me out, they put me back in. And when they put me back in, the one thing I wanted was choir, right?
Yeah.
So they put me in choir. I was loving it. I was hearing music. And then one day I was looking at this pianist play The Wind Beneath My Wings.
Oh, amazing. Yes.
Right. And when he played The Wind Beneath My Wings, I watched him going, man, I'd love to learn how to play that someday. Not even thinking what I was saying at the time, not even thinking that I was putting something there. And 2 weeks later, I sat down at that exact same piano when nobody was there. It was like what's called homeroom, almost when you're waiting for to go to class and such like that.
Yeah.
And I played that song from start to finish, never touching a piano before that, never having any music lessons. And when I was done, the person behind me goes, how did you learn to play that? And I'm like, oh, I just watched it. And so from that point on, it was I would watch it and I would learn how to play it. Almost like when you see the visuals for the pianos on YouTube today.
I could do that.
Yeah.
So
that's what started it. And then of course my love turned to like Metallica at the time, listening to that, listening to AC/DC, and then learning guitar from AC/DC's Thunderstruck, because I didn't want to learn like Eddie Van Halen's Eruption at the time. I wanted something bigger and different. And all I heard at the time was AC/DC's Thunderstruck, Metallica, the Black Album. And I started taking songs from the piano and guitar and doing it vice versa. So I learned the guitar as well. Then from the guitar, I learned the bass in high school. And from the bass, I learned drums. My dad got a drum set and it just took off from there.
Fantastic. Wow. A man of many, many talents. We don't often have many people on the show that have all these different talents. That is so inspirational and impressive. Well done, Jason. Do you know what I mean? What kind of challenges and barriers do you think you faced and had to overcome to be where you are right now? I know we've talked about a few different bits here, but you've gone through an awful lot.
Well, like Brett Michaels, having the type 1 diabetes, that's something that's always something, because whether you're on stage in front of 3 people, 30 million people, it's something that's something, right? So you manage it the best you can, you take care of it the best you can. At the same time, your lifestyle is different from everybody else's out there, right? So like you're going from plane to venue, venue to plane, like it's just like that. Or you're traveling from bus and whatever you're in across the United States, right? So you got to make sure your sleep is in, you got to make sure your vitamins and minerals are in, you got to make sure that stuff is being done on a daily basis and you're not forgetting anything either. So because it's very easy to forget a shot with type 1 diabetes, like you forget the shot for some reason, stuff like that. But having the brain injury, besides the diabetes, right, was a huge turning point in my life, because from there I learned two things. Before I was in a cover band in Chicago, where we were doing rock songs from everything from the 1950s all the way to present time at the time.
Yeah.
And during that time, I would play in front of shows and I would play this, and we were making like $20, $40 for a night. It wasn't hard. It wasn't a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what I realized after the injury was my value as an artist, my value as a performer, my value as who I am and what I bring to the table, because my value is so different from everybody else's.
Yes.
And I decided during that time that I was going to be the first ever $1 million piano player.
Wow. Did you get there?
No, we're working right now for that. But also too, I decided also that I was playing, like I said, the intention and the goal, 2027, I'm playing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Wow. How many people can say that? And Super Bowl at halftime, that's one of the biggest slots you could ever get in the music industry, right?
It's and the reason why it's so big, like, Usher and Rihanna, is because you play it for free normally, but because you're putting out so much outflow during that part to millions and millions and billions of people, the streams come back and basically it pays for itself in like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. And you get more streams, you get more album sales, you get more merch sales, it's promotion, isn't it? And I think that's the thing. Well done, Jason. Well done you, because I can't remember anyone that I've actually interviewed that's going to be doing that. So massive congratulations. I'm wishing you all the best for 2027. I know you're going to smash it anyway. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about kind of how that's impacted you, some of these barriers and issues? How's that impacted you in your career and the way you feel about yourself in the music industry?
Well, I'll give an example. So a lot of people don't know this, and I haven't really shared this much because of the fact that it's something that most people talk about, but I'm gonna say it. So before the brain injury, you would tell me to play a song and I would be like, oh yeah, got it, right? After the brain injury, there's what I call like a little communication lag. So like, let's say I'm playing piano and somebody goes, hey, do you know this song? And the first instance will be no. And then I'll keep playing a different song, right? And then about 20 minutes later, I realized that I know that entire song. I played it 90,000 times before. I can play it with my eyes closed. But that's what happens to me now after the injury when I'm playing or performing.
Okay.
So what that means is, for me, is I have a whole different thing than most people. Like, I'll be right in the middle of a song and it's gone.
Okay.
So with that limitation or with that type of barrier, right, I know how to work through that now. I'll ask the audience, hey, listen, what was I talking about? And I'm okay with that, because literally it's like it helps me, it helps them, and it puts them part of the show, right? But sometimes that's what happens, and I just go through it. Like I'm a professional. I leave everything on that stage. I do 100% when I'm on the stage. And as I was saying before yesterday, I'm the same person in line getting Metallica tickets, or of my favorite band, that I am on stage. I don't change.
That's good.
And what you see here is who I am. So when I'm on stage, I'm just like bigger.
I love that. That's amazing. There's a few artists that need to take a leaf out of your book, because I know the music industry is full of egos, and you certainly don't have one of those. You're just such a kind, down to earth kind of person that just live life. And I think we need more people like that, in the industry, because it's really inspiring and it's beautiful to see. Really is.
Thank you.
And what kind of thoughts and feelings do you have around equality, diversity, and inclusion, especially around, disabilities and underrepresented groups? What kind of things do you think about at the moment in the music industry?
I was telling somebody the other day, I was on a media, basically somebody just took a camera and stuck it in my face and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah.
And those are sometimes the best moments because literally, our forefathers of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, right? They wanted equal rights for all.
Yes.
They didn't say because of race, creed, color, sex, gender, all that stuff. They just said equal rights for all.
Everyone.
So the human rights is a rights bestowed upon us by the creator and whatever you believe the creator to be. I'm saying that everyone has equal rights, no matter who they are. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so important because each person is an individual in their own right. And secondly, no one should have the right to say one way or another what that right is,
Right.
except the individual that's bestowing those rights, right? So for me, sorry about that. So for me, when it comes to that, it's got to be equality on everything. That's why, for example, the deaf and the hard of hearing, right? Like that's why I do so much to make sure that they are able to be immersed in my music, they understand the music, and that. And then the other thing is that no matter what you what's it called? No matter what you individualize yourself as, no matter what you represent, I forgot the word right now, but no matter what that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is for you. And
Yeah.
it's not for anybody else to make any decisions or judgments. And
Yeah.
it's not for anybody else to evaluate either. It's for you. Like, so with that being said, equality has to be both ways. It has to be from you and it has to be from them.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get to a point in the world where that is possible, then we will finally have peace on earth.
Oh, I hope so, because that's one thing I'm working towards, and I think it's about understanding and respect and compassion, but also having, making sure that it's what's the word? It's not equality, it's equity. That's the word I'm looking for, to make sure, because we don't all start on the same starting line. We don't start on the same points. Some of us are born into advantaged families, some of us are born into disadvantaged families. And it's also ensuring that we're supporting and nurturing the talent as it comes through the talent pipeline, because a lot of the talent doesn't come from the rich and wealthy families. It comes from those darkest, deepest, loneliest and most brokest of places. But that's where the beauty is made and the experiences are learned, right?
Exactly true. And so if you're an artist right now, no matter what type of artist you are, creed, color, sex, gender, whatever that looks like to you, keep going. I'm just going to tell you, keep going, because like if I didn't keep going, I wouldn't be where I am. And it's so important that whatever somebody says, like I said yesterday, 2% of this world is going to come at you and try to destroy you, stop you, and make you stop producing your art.
Yes.
98% of the rest of the world are going to tell you, keep going. You've got this. Keep going. You can do this. Hey, I'll put you on a slate on my open mic night or something like that, right? So you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving. You cannot give up no matter what people say, especially that other 2%, because that other 2% isn't there to help you. They're there to destroy you. And like I said before, that 2% that is in the industry, okay, you've seen it on Elton John's biography. You've seen it on Freddie Mercury's. You've seen it on A Star Is Born. You could see where they were trying to take that artist out from doing what they loved. That's what you have to watch out for. If you can watch out for that and you can spot that, then you will be fine, not only in your career, but you'll be able to help others and help them along the journey as well.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important, actually. And it's also about, nurturing community and understanding and fostering that and educating others, because not everyone's aware of some of the challenges and the barriers and the issues, which I totally understand. But the more we do these podcasts, the more we educate, the more we stand up there and kind of platform ourselves and role model each other, it kind of helps people to understand, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing is, leaders, right? So you having the podcast, you're a leader. Me having the music platform, I'm a leader, right? We choose what we want to talk about on our platform.
Yes.
And the more that we talk about it, the more that we actually engage with our fan base, the more that we engage with the world, we're creating the understanding. Because a lot of times, you've got people that were born in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, such like that. that are not aware of what's happening at this present time. Then you've got people that were born in 70s and 80s and 90s that are aware, but they don't understand, right? So that there's a lot of different ways that you can help every individual to understand what your platform is today. And it's really all about just the education, like you said, and there should be equality for every person, race, creed, color, doesn't matter what it is. And really, I mean, when it comes to politics, nobody should be talking about politics from a standpoint of the fact that you're trying to persuade one versus the other. Because it's very personal, it's individualized, right? Now, I understand politicians, that's their job. Okay, fine. But in the music industry, yes, you might have opinions, you might have this and that, but the difference is your leadership means a lot. So if you are going to let other people choose and observe for themselves and decide for themselves, then that's what really you should do. And when it comes to equality, I think your platform is amazing because now you have a voice that's bigger than your own individual voice, because now you have a voice of the people. And that's really how it all got started in the first place, with newspapers, magazines, and now it's just digital, where you do this podcast and then all of a sudden, Australia has it in like 30 minutes, which is unheard of.
It's worldwide, and that's the one thing I love about this. We can connect with everyone. I can just sat in my kitchen now on my sofa and I can connect with the whole world, which is fantastic. We couldn't do that 20 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed in that respect. And I always say thank you, and I'm so grateful, and I have lots of gratitude for the work that I do. And thank you for your lovely compliments, Jason. Absolutely means a lot to me. We're running out of time now. We've got 5 minutes left. So would you like to share with the viewers any major wins or successes that you have, and any links that anyone might want to connect with you on or collaborate with you? Is there anything people can find you on?
Absolutely. Well, first I'm going to say this. My official website is www.jasonmanwill.com, just like my name. Now, it won't let me, the website won't let me put the apostrophe there. So just put jasonmanwill.com and you'll find me, or just type it into Google and you'll find me everywhere.
I'll leave it in the description. Don't worry.
And if you're an artist, please connect with me. Let me see if I can help you in any way, or let me help you by collabing or something like that, because I want to help artists rehabilitate their career after COVID. And I also want to make sure that they have all the tools and resources they need to really reach their targets and goals. Now, granted, I'm not Taylor Swift, I understand that. But if I can help just one artist out of 8.5 billion people, that's amazing to me.
You've helped me. You've helped me. You've helped me, so I'm sure you can help loads of others, And I'm looking for tracks. I'm bringing out some new stuff myself, so I'll be in touch as well. Don't worry.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And the other thing is, so I've had the privilege of, so in 2016, I got back into the world after the brain injury. 6 years later, I got nominated for my first Grammy for the hit rock energy single Despair. And that's like a homage to Blink-182 and Green Day of the 90s with Sex Pistols vocals. So if you love that, go check out that music. It's on Spotify and all streaming platforms now. And as well as I just got into, it's called Amgadi, I think it is, Iran's YouTube. Like now it's all over, it's literally all over the world, so which is fantastic. And then also I wrote a song for television and film. It's called Mother. I composed the actual music for that. Ashley Garland was the one that did the lyrics, and it's actually a true story of a 14-year-old girl who on the night before she died wrote a letter to her mother, and it's chilling, it's haunting. So those are two of the major things that's happened so far. Right now, I'm in a position where I'm going for 3 Grammys in 2025. The cover you see behind me is Finding Love Again. That's coming out on Friday.
Love that.
Right. And so the pre-save starts on Friday. And so I've had the privilege of winning and winning in a good way ever since all the barriers and stuff that's happened. And I'm not giving up. I'm not slowing down. I'm actually putting more pedal to the fire. And like I said, I'm like a lightning bolt. I'm coming. You better be ready, because I'm going to be there.
Pedal to the metal all the way. We've got to go all the way. And I love that. I love your positivity. I love your inspiration. I love your story. And I just want to say thanks again for sharing this amazing expertise, the value, the story with us. It's really meant a lot. Thank you again, Jason.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, and it was a pleasure.
It's a pleasure too. Speak soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.